What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online Jamily? This, of course, here is JamiroFan 2000 with another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the uninitiated in this series, this has been my recurring discussion series here on my channel the last 8 years, looking at the past, present, and future of Jamiroquai. They're now over 30 years of influential and musical making. Now, this episode is going to be a little bit of a way long update, but I'll give you a little bit of context. Now, I've discussed this here on JamiroFan Talks About and many other videos here on my YouTube channel, but back in late 2022, between specifically December into January of 2023 and 2022, the Apple Music pay streaming subscription service was introducing a brand new high fidelity audio format that was going to be remastered on a plethora of albums from popular and mainstream artists called Dolby Atmos, which of course was developed by the Dolby Science, which is basically Thomas Dolby, who was a one-hit wonder from the 1980s, who ended up pivoting from music making into high-fidelity audio, and had been in the forefront of most audio systems for movie theaters and music. Well, it looks like the Dolby Atmos people moved into high-fidelity, lossless audio, and as part of this new promotion for Dolby Atmos in that time period between December 2022 and January 2023, it just so happens that Jamiroquai's 1996 groundbreaking album of Traveling Out Moving was one of many albums, or a plethora of albums, that were going to be remastered in the new Dolby Atmos audio lossless format, and these new audio formats were going to be showcasing a lot of new sounds. Now, it turns out that this was commissioned by Sony Music and was actually spearheaded and curated by Jamiroquai's director of music. Of course, I'm talking about Rick Pope. And now Rick Pope has a history with Jamiroquai, being the official director of music for Jamiroquai, but he oversaw a lot of the mixing of Jamiroquai albums, starting all the way back with the aforementioned 1996 Jamiroquai album, Traveling on Moving. Now, this Dolby Atmos version of this album, like I said, a lot of these albums that were remastered and remixed into the new Dolby Atmos format do feature new vocal tracks, new instrumentation, and more separation of the instrumentation. And Traveling on Moving has a lot of secret sounds. Now, for any members of the Jamily who are not familiar with the term secret sounds, back in the day, there were a couple fan sites in the early online Jamily, way before the days of social media, that did a catalog of all the secret sounds that many Jamiroquai fans heard in a lot of the early albums, specifically between 1993's Mercy Planet Earth all the way up to Traveling Out Moving from 1996. Now, this new Dolby Atmos version of Traveling Out Moving does feature a lot of new sounds. Now, I actually asked Rick Pope about this back when I was on vacation in England, and it turns out that he did use new vocal tracks and new instrumentation, which all comes because of this new Dolby Atmos audio, high-fidelity audio format, now can actually be heard with the naked ear, rather than back in the day when you had to listen to it on vinyl, cassette, or CD. Now, I did do a summary post back then when this Dolby Atmos version of Traveling Movie came out onto Apple Music, but unfortunately I did not at the time have a subscription to Apple Music to be able to hear this Dolby Atmos version of Traveling Out Movie. But a gracious fan of the Jamily over on YouTube did an audio recording, though the audio recording was a bit compressed because that's how YouTube uploading of videos on the format is, unless you record with Audacity with a high audio format, but it compresses a lot of audio. So at least at the time, I was able to do a summary post track by track of all the secret sounds I heard in this new Dolby Atmos version of Traveling on Moving back in January of 2023. Now, if you want to check out that summary post, and there's actually a link to the YouTube video where you can actually hear the album for yourself, at least in compressed audio, I'll be sure to put a link to that at the bottom of this, in the description area of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About down below. So be sure to check that out when you can. So fast forward to now, in the beginning of 2024, I have finally actually gotten a chance to actually listen to the Dolby Atmos version of Traveling Out Moving, not as a compressed recording on video on YouTube. I actually listen to it at the actual website, and I'm currently doing a new post series on both of the twin subreddits of Online Jamily, R Jamiroquai and R to the Reddit Jamily, of a revisitation of the secret sounds of the 2023 traveling on movie Dolby Atmos version. Now, so far I've released 3 posts covering Virtual Insanity, Cosmic Girl, and Use the Force, but I do plan on releasing even more posts of that series on the subreddits, and I thought I recorded an episode of JamiroFan Talks About, so you can all check it out for yourself. But like I said, that album is not freely listenable unless you have an Apple Music subscription, unfortunately. But you can get, they much like all streaming platforms that are music streaming platforms online, they do have a trial period. So I believe it's a week-long trial period if you want to try out Apple Music for yourself. So I'll be sure to additionally, as I mentioned on my link to the original summary post of the Dolby Atmos Secret Sounds post I did on the subreddits back in January of 2023, I'll be sure to put the links on my new series that is so far released online of the new revisitation of this, and I'll be sure to put a link to the actual album, the Dolby Atmos version of the album, on Apple Music if you happen to get a subscription there, and you can check it out for yourself and follow along with all of my instances of this record of all the secret sounds on the Dolby Atmos version of Traveling on Moving. I'll be, like I said, I'll put all that information down in the description area of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About down below. So be sure to check all that out as you can, and I will, of course, periodically be putting posts up on both of the twin subreddits of Online Jamily of each song from Traveling on Moving, listening to it now on Apple Music rather than the compressed recording of it on YouTube. Now, I hope I explained this in the most long-winding, best way I could, but be sure to check out those posts when you can on the subreddits of the Online Jamily for the next few weeks. And, of course, I will be putting up a summary of all the links to each one of those track-by-tracks of the secret sounds of the 2023 Traveling on Moving Dolby Atmos version. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. Thank you again for watching JamiroFan Talks About. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to ding the bell on your YouTube to stay up to date on all the newest videos coming from the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. I will endeavor to bring you all the latest news as it becomes available. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. I'll see you again really soon with more Jamiroquai related content here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye-bye, everybody, and take care.